We're going to the
Go,
race.
go, speed
At
race.
the end of the race. And we're going to murder like 10 people along the way. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Skeleton Crew podcast. This is our first recording in a while.
It's been a bit.
It's been a little bit. I had a vacation. It was nice.
Did you have a good time?
I did. And
Good.
Sardo probably pet a cat at some point. I don't know.
I did pet a cat.
Oh, that's
It was
very important.
Nice. Yes.
Anyway, I'm Stross. That's Sardo. We're your hosts, the skeletons in the thumbnail. That one's the pink one. I'm the less pink one.
It's true. You are the skeleton-colored skeleton.
I'm the one with hat. I has hat.
You can has hat.
Memes from 2002.
They never get old.
Totally haven't aged.
But speaking of things that did get really old, we're talking about Speed Racer today.
Sardo, I want you to explain why this ended up happening. Or do you want me to explain why this ended up happening?
You know what? I think I explained on the Patreon thing of this. We are also putting out a live Patreon reaction to the first 4 episodes.
Remember,
so check
Skeleton Crew Pro. You can support us with $2. Well, $2 whole dollars. We'll spend that money on something. I don't know.
Yeah, but Stross, why don't you take over this time? What was the
what was the
inciting
catalyst?
incident?
Well, what happened was you and I, when we're usually done recording things, and this is multiple things because we also have now basically decided that yes, we're on each other's streams all the time now.
Yes.
This is just what we do now.
It's
like it wasn't what we planned, but it's like for the past like 2 months, it's like it's this is just what it is now. Not that either of us has complained one iota. It's just that is what our decision making has done. We have a tendency to watch random shit on YouTube just for funsies. Usually starting with the boys, aka the Burball Stars, aka the birds of Hideaki Utsume.
Yes.
Such as Gumi.
Gumi.
Kiwi.
Kiwi.
No, he goes, ah.
Just like Speed Racer.
Yeah. And so this eventually ended up, because apparently you used to watch Speed Racer as a smaller skeleton.
I was a wee little sprog when Speed Racer was on the TV.
In syndication, obviously.
Yes.
And you watched it with your dad.
I did. Can I tell this story? Because I have a very specific Speed Racer memory. So I remember being really, really sick with the flu one day, and I am bundled up in a blanket. I am drinking like this nasty orange grainy medicine to make my tummy feel better. And my dad is sitting on the couch and watching cartoons with me, as a good supportive father might do. Except we're sitting there and we're watching Speed Racer because it was on, and I distinctly remember my dad looking at me and saying, "This is stupid." And I felt very offended at the time. I don't know why. I had no real emotional attachment to Speed Racer, but I was offended.
You were so mad.
I was so mad.
But anyway, so
my dad was right.
Yes, absolutely. As we're going to find out. So basically, we ended up watching clips from Speed Racer. Which ultimately led to us learning that Speed Racer is fucking crazy.
So crazy.
And we're like, you know what? Let's watch some Speed Racer, because why not? Technically, this will be the best thing Sardo has made us watch for the podcast.
Again, damning me with faint praise.
In terms of the quality of what we watched, not that I've minded anything that we have partaked in. If anything, you've hurt yourself more than I have.
I have, it's true.
Really? So the person, it's like, you look in the mirror, there's a fucker who's been doing this to me.
Who's making me watch all this shitty shit?
Look in the mirror. Oh, right, me.
You.
This asshole over here. But yeah, so we watched it, and we're like, damn. So we watched it. So we watched the first 4 episodes, which apparently all the episodes are like 2-parters.
I guess so. Yeah, there's always a cliffhanger. And the first 2 episodes have followed basically the same sort of story path.
And that is...
Um, Speed finds out about the race. Speed really wants to race in the race. Pops, who is Speed's dad, says, "No, Speed, you can't race in the race. This is much too dangerous for race." Speed races in the race anyway. Pops finds out and gets really mad about it. Speed almost dies. Speed kills a few people accidentally, unintentionally, intentionally, I don't know.
well,
Speed wins the
sometimes.
race.
It's not always Speed, but someone fucking dies.
Cars blow up. Several cars blow up, whether that's Speed's fault or not.
And then Speed wins race, and everyone goes, ha 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 ha. Well done, Speed.
And it's the same two animation cells shaking back and forth. Everybody and okay, this cartoon came out in 1967. I know I should not be shitting on animation from that time because listen, it was a different medium.
TV,
a lot more was going.
The TV animation was still in its youth.
But it does look kind of funny the way these people wobble back and forth like a laminated sheet of paper when they laugh.
Though the funny part is, I do believe this came out around the same time as a lot of Tessica stuff, which looks despite not being in color, looks a lot better. Yes. Which is really damning.
No, I mean, maybe that's not fair considering Tezuka was a god of anime.
Well, yeah, but he didn't animate it all himself.
That's true. Yeah, but Speed Racer looks kind of silly, and of course Speed wins, and Speed then makes a really dumb face.
And it's just that, over and over again, for technically 4 episodes, and 2 stories.
Yes. So, Stross, what was Speed Racer about? What's
the story here?
Yeah, what's the story, Morning Glory?
Well, the story is Speed, in the first one, Speed is a young man who wants to be a racer. Mm-hmm. But his dad won't let him. Because
he's already a racer. His last name's Racer.
You know what I mean. You're right, but he wants to race cars because it's literally in his name.
Yes.
And he's like, "Dad, I want to race." He's like, "No, you will not. But I made this incredibly good racing car for reasons." But in the first one, Speed's father is coming up with a new engine for the Mach 5. And he's at work, and he's like, "Here's the plans, everyone." And he's like, everyone's like, okay. And then one guy's like, "No, I don't like it. I'm not going to look at it." And they yell at each other, and eventually Speed's dad quits. But as we learn, that man is, who is Van Ruffle.
Van Ruffle.
It was secretly trying to steal the plans for himself because he's evil. And so, go for it.
Yeah, he's very evil, and he's planning on basically stealing the Mach 5's plans and taking them for his own. So he hires a man named Ace Ducey to do the job. His name is Ace Ducey.
Yeah, and so Ace Ducey threatens Mr. Racer, obviously.
With a gun.
With a gun. No, there's these are shockingly violent.
There's so much shit going on.
And so basically what happens is Speed's father wants to upgrade the Mach 5, but he can't because he doesn't have the money somehow.
Because he quit his job like an idiot.
And apparently had no money saved somehow. We have no idea where it went.
With a family of 2 kids and a chimpanzee to support.
And a wife.
And a wife.
A very nice looking wife.
Beautiful wife.
My beautiful wife. My beautiful house. But so Speed's like, you know what? I'm going to sell the Mach 5, which seems really ass backwards to upgrade the Mach 5.
And then Sell it.
Sell it to upgrade the Mach 5. I feel like there's a missing step here, guys.
He gift of the Magi himself.
It really did. And then eventually, like, they go to his friend Sparky, who's a mechanic, I guess. And Sparky's like, you could just do this race. It's like $5,000, which should be enough, because this is 1960, so it's like 60's 5,000, not today $5,000.
$5,000 would actually buy you something back then.
Well, it would buy you something now, but it would buy you a lot more back then.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so they get in this race, and they're like, oh, that's Skullduggery. He's a dirty racer, and he's going to be here, too. And the fact that his name is Skullduggery is really funny.
They keep calling him Duggery, and it's just like, okay, but Skullduggery is the fucking coolest name ever. If my name were Skull, I would demand that everybody call me that all the time.
Exactly. But anyway, Skullduggery does it. So the race happens. It's really goofy and dumb.
And so many cars blow up. And this is an ongoing trend. Just cars don't just like flip or fall over. They explode.
People fucking die in this story so much. And it's just like, oh my god.
Like, the world of Speed Racer is this very dark dystopia where racers willingly give their lives day after day for the entertainment of thousands, and normal citizens just go to this blood sport and cheer.
It's basically what happened back in ye old Constantinople.
Mm-hmm.
With the chariot races at the Hippodrome.
Right.
Where people would just go to watch incredible racing and potential death. But instead it's with cars and less horses.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Well, that's good, because horses suck.
Your fear of horses continues. But anyway, so what ends up happening is Speed Racer is in this race, and it's really just him and Skullduggery, and they're like, and yeah, everyone kind of sounds like that. Until eventually, Ace Ducey and his cronies show up, because they've got tired of threatening his father, and they're like, what if we just find out where he took it? Because what they discover is the plans for the new engine have been stashed on a windshield in invisible ink.
Yes. And Speed's little brother, Spritle.
Yes, that's his name.
Do you like Spritle? I fucking hate Spritle.
I hate Spritle. I don't hate Chim Chim, but I hate Spritle.
But Spritle's like, here, Speed, put this on. You need a windshield. And Speed's like, okay. And then he does it, because Speed Racer is nothing if not fucking stupid.
It's Dad's, but oh well, I'm already doing one thing he doesn't like. I might as well just go all the way.
I'm the middle child. I need to fuck up some more.
Don't remind me. I don't need it to be reminded of my own existence today. But yeah. So basically this race has happened, and Ace Ducey and his like unmarked cars just show up, kill a bunch of people.
But not as many people as Skullduggery killed, or Speed killed.
Well, I don't remember Speed killed anyone, but Skullduggery definitely killed like 3 people.
Like, I'm holding it against Speed because he kills a guy in the opening song.
This is true. He does kill someone in the opening every single time, which is just like, wow, Speed, what the fuck? This is a weirdly, extremely violent series.
It's so funny.
It's really funny.
But the bad guys show up.
Yeah, the bad guys show up and they're going, ah! And then, they keep going and going and going, and all that stuff happens. And eventually, like, Skull and Speed, which, yes, these are the first names of our 2 protagonists of this story, have to team up to survive.
And also because Skull takes a shortcut through the volcanoes.
Yes, there's volcanoes here, by the way. Like,
and that is dropped completely, like, straight-faced, like there's nothing extraordinary about it.
Well, because this was like a mountain race, which, okay, that's fine. But apparently there are volcanoes here.
Active volcanoes.
Active volcanoes, and no one mentions this up until the point where it happens. And then they get there, and, like, Skullduggery almost falls off into the volcano. Speed saves him, and they're like, thanks, Speed. It's like, you're welcome, Skullduggery.
It's like, we're friends now.
I guess we're friends now.
And then they get up there, and Ace Ducey is there with his cronies, and Skull's like, psych, we're not friends.
Well, what we should mention at this point, they have been getting assistance from Trixie, who is, I guess, Speed's girlfriend. I guess they're not Speed's very loving.
The girl who hangs around Speed, I don't know. Are they dating? Are they just friends? I don't think Speed has friends. I don't think Speed understands the concept of love.
It's hard to tell. But anyway, Speed, she's been helping out Speed.
And Trixie, like, is really good at flying things. She has a helicopter, she has planes, she's dropping smoke bombs on the bad guys.
Yeah, we should mention earlier in this in the first episode, she did show up when Speed and Pops get chased down by Skullduggery, not Skullduggery, Ace Ducey's minions.
Yes, because they're pursued by his minions on motorcycles early on.
Yes, but it's good because also Pops beats the shit out of them.
Yeah, Pops can throw down when he wants to.
Yeah, apparently. But anyway, so at the during this whole thing, they fight, but they're saved by Spritle and Chim Chim because no one realized they'd stowed away in the Mach 5. And this whole ensues in a very long, extended fight sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Between Speed Racer, Trixie, Spritle, Chim Chim, and Skullduggery against Ace Ducey and his minions, and Ace Ducey's minions just get their ass kicked. Because of course they did.
Of course.
And this ends in the end. They win. Skullduggery fucking dies.
Like, Skullduggery, like, he does the whole, like, I'm still gonna win the race Speed thing, and then he, like, fucks off into his car, and he, like, drives off, because he still wants to win.
Of course. And then Speed gets into the Mach 5 after smashing the windshield. So so Ace Ducey doesn't get the plans.
Mm-hmm.
And also throwing Ace Ducey off of a cliff. Where he dies. I think they show him with, like, the stars.
Yeah, they got a little circle of stars around him. It's like, no,
he's dead. He's gonna die.
That was at least a bad concussion.
And he's probably gonna get, like, eaten by a bear or something.
Probably.
And then, like, they race and Speed wins, but in the end, because of Ace Ducey's interference, nobody is allowed to win because, it makes sense. There was interference.
So it's not a legit race, and Speed's like, no!
Oh, no, well, then what was the point of this? And then it's like, oh, Father, I'm sorry I had to bring it. It's like, it's okay, Speed, I have other plans, I'll put it here. Which makes you wonder, why did we care about it in the first place, other than people getting it?
Then, if you have it all in your head, why did you write it down somewhere people could steal it, and it doesn't make any...
Well, I understand the initial writing of the plans, because he was presenting it.
But on the windshield, he wasn't presenting the windshield.
Yeah, that part's weird. But anyway, that's the first 2 episodes. That's the first story. It was weird. Skullduggery's our favorite character.
I love Skullduggery.
His
name is great. It's a sick name.
He's got a dump truck ass, apparently.
He does kind of have a dumpy. I'm gonna be real. Speed Racer is a surprisingly butt-forward anime.
Apparently. And then there's the next episode where this time we're in a new race at the trans country race, which, great, good for the trans people, get their own country now.
Yeah, I'm very proud of them. They, they deserve their own country and their own race.
Yep. And in it, we meet Racer X.
Sir X, who is not the spokesman of Twitter.
Not the spokesman of Twitter, because Twitter did not exist yet, and he probably wouldn't, because he's actually a pretty cool guy.
He is.
Racer X is a mysterious racer that in every race he's in, bad things happen to other racers.
People crash, which is totally unheard of, and we haven't seen happen at all.
But he's a he's a damn fine racer. But as we learn, he's not just Racer X. He's actually Rex Racer, Speed's older brother, who now exists.
Yeah, because, yes, Speed Racer, as we've mentioned before, is a middle child. He had an older brother named Rex Racer. Rex took one of Dad's other really cool fancy cars for a race, and he crashed, and Dad's like, fuck you, you suck at racing, don't race again. And Rex was like, fuck you, and then he ran away.
And he's been racing as Racer X ever since. And basically, he wants to make sure Speed knows that, hey, I ain't a bad guy. So he bribes Spritle with candy to deliver a letter. That's about it. And then Speed, I gotta train. And he goes training on, the worst possible night where it's dark and stormy.
Yeah, it's pouring rain. He's like, I'm gonna go drive.
Which, in bad weather conditions, obviously, ye olde Rex Racer, aka the Masked Racer, goes to help him. He's like, you shouldn't be racing it in this weather. It's real bad.
My little brother's gonna do something stupid. I should go do it too.
At least try to stop him, because I'm a better racer than he is. And basically, as we learn, the Alpha team led by Slick. Whatever the fuck his name is.
Slick driver. I don't fucking remember.
Slick, who looks a bit too much like Skullduggery, but is not Skullduggery.
Really threw me off.
Threw us off there for a second, because they're dressed basically nearly identical.
It's that's not the same dude.
And obviously, Speed was attempted to be recruited by some rich guys, and Pops is like, fuck you, no. I'm tired of you rich bastards trying to do things. Which, power to the people, Pops.
Yeah, fair enough. Good for you, Pops.
Yeah, Pops, you're a real one, Pops. But anyway, after that, Speed is saved by Racer X, who's taken to his hotel room where he's showering.
We get a very nice partial nude scene of Mr. Rex Racer,
who is the hotter racer brother. They got progressively less hot as they went down the line.
Yeah, the gene pool really kind of watered out after a little bit with the Racer family.
Mrs. Racer's hot genes slowly eroded over time.
She could only do so much.
Spritle sadly looks too much like his father. But not in a good way, because Pops isn't an ugly man. He's just a large, burly guy, which usually we're super down for.
But Spritle is just like a rounded cartoon child. He looks like a cartoon character.
He looks like a cartoon child, all right.
He looks like one of them Osomatsus, or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And then after that, Speed puts on the mask because I don't know.
There was no reason. He thought it was cool.
And you know what? Fair enough. But because we already established that Mr. Wily, not Dr. Wily, that's his cousin, clearly, was like, yes, kidnap him. And they think Speed is Racer X, which is hilarious because they are, despite supposedly looking alike, they are not the same height or build.
Yeah, it's like, wow, Racer X is really small and scrawny.
He doesn't look like how he usually does. We're not complaining, we just think it's funny.
So they club Speed on the head and they take him away. And I thought this was kind of funny. Trixie.
Trixie.
Trixie. Trixie pulls up to Racer X's place and she sees the bad guys leaving with Speed in the car with Racer X's mask on. He's like, "What?" She's like, "Wow, Racer X is kind of a jerk for pretending to be asleep." And it's like, "Honey, that's your unconscious boyfriend."
Like, at least she has the excuse of not being able to see him correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else? Nope.
But nope.
The rest of y'all? Wrong.
And there's just I love Speed Racer because there's so much unnecessary bullshit going on just for the sake of being cool. Like the bad guys like drive through the forest and then they stop. They magically change the license plate on the car and they rip off like the paint on the car to make it a different color. It's like red underneath. And this whole thing is totally pointless. It really does nothing, but it's so good. It's like I love it. This is what makes Speed Racer what it is.
Yeah, basically, it's just unnecessary steps to be like, how do they not notice? Easy. We'll make our car look like a different car. 'Cause.
Why? We don't know.
We really don't know. But, yeah, they do that. And then, in the end, they're like, we got you now, Racer X. It's like, I'm not Racer X. What the fuck? This is so funny. He's like, yeah, no, you got the wrong guy. You're stupid.
It's like, now we can find out their true identity. I have no idea who this is.
Like, wait, you're Speed Racer. That's not right.
So, that happens. Speed gets rescued. They set the place on fire because the bad guys haven't learned that if you shoot an oil drum, and the room that Speed's being kept in is full of oil drums, fires happen.
It can, in fact, explode.
Speed Racer is not OSHA compliant.
No, he's not. What was the 60s?
Yeah, it's true.
But anyway, the race happens, and Alpha Team tries to murder Speed and Racer X, and then a bunch of people end up dying.
Yeah, there's a lot of death going on.
So many people dying and all these accidents.
And like, I get that racing's dangerous, but come on.
Yeah, I know, it's getting kind of silly. But in the end, Speed and Racer X gets into a slight accident. He's like, Speed, go finish the race. And Speed's like, fine, I'm trying to be a good person, but you're telling me to finish the race, and you're not taking no for an answer.
And so they finish the race together. Speed wins, but Racer X comes in second.
And everyone's like, you did it, Speed. And like, Speed's like, I know he could have won, but where is he? And he's just like off to the side.
Like 3 feet away, hiding behind a wall.
It's really goofy. And that was basically what happened in the 4 episodes, abridged anyway. So, how is it going down memory lane for you?
Well, my memories of Speed Racer are pretty foggy. So, this was a nice, refreshing journey. The show's so dumb, Stross. I love it so much.
Oh, yeah, no, it is extremely stupid.
And I find it very charming. It's... You know, I like the style Speed Racer's going for. I think it's kind of got that, like, cool, you know... I'm struggling with words, but I like what it's going for. I like what it's getting at, you know. It doesn't always nail the landing, but I think it's exactly what it's trying to be. What do you think?
I I think it's just the right amount of goofy for where it's endearing.
Yes.
We're like, it's one of those shows that it's like Scooby Doo, where it's just stupid enough to be fun.
That's exactly how it feels. It feels like Scooby Doo.
Where it's like, because like when it comes to shows from like, especially cartoons from yesteryear, you run the risk of them being like the Flintstones, where it's just like extremely dated.
Right.
But in this case, it's like, it's just stupid enough to work in the fun way.
I love it.
I do too. We'll probably watch more.
I actually have stronger memories from childhood of the Dexter's Lab episode that parodied Speed Racer.
Yeah, that's sort of, I think, part of the reason why we kind of end up doing this is that, like, Speed Racer, in spite of it being kind of just this goofy, like, 60s ephemera, has, like, a very long, endearing legacy of being, well, this.
It is what it is, and by God, that's good enough.
Yeah. You don't need a lot.
And one more question for you, Stross.
Absolutely.
Just overall, what was your favorite thing about Speed Racer?
Of the 4 episodes that we watched, I think my favorite thing is just the absurd amount of violence. Like, if you told me a show about car racing with, like, a supercar was going to be, like, this comically violent, I would have laughed and told you, yeah, nice try, Sardo.
It's clownishly violent.
And when we say clownishly, it's like so much violence just ends up happening all the time. Like, Speed Racer beats up people. People try to kill people. Like, people explode in their cars all the time.
Lots of cars catching fire. They were racing Pintos.
Yeah, basically. And, like, it would be bad if it wasn't so funny.
But I think it's the way it's treated, because it is that kind of like kid show violence where it's like, yes, the car blows up, but we're just not going to acknowledge that, so you assume it's not as bad as it looks.
Well, it's just funny because sometimes, like, it's almost Looney Tunes in what happens. Like, in the episode with Racer X, someone fills the radiator of the car with gasoline, and instead of exploding violently, it just explodes, and the guy's left there going, Puh.
Yeah, again, it's the cartoon stars and birdies around the head.
But then there's, like, a moment of, like, very real violence. And you're just kind of like, huh.
Lots of guns. Like, a very surprising amount of guns.
Like, a lot of guns, gun violence, like, car crashes, explosions.
Speed beating the shit out of people.
Speed just beats the shit out of somebody else. It's great.
And it's funny with Speed because he's kind of design-wise, and I think in general, he's supposed to be kind of this, like, reckless but otherwise wholesome good boy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And Speed just throws hands.
Yeah, because, like, Speed's design is, like, he's clearly meant to be a young man.
Yeah.
Of, like, 16 to 18. With, like,
I think he's 18.
He's 18 according to the show, but I'm not sure if that's, like, the English version of it. Because, you know, this is back when that still was a thing that they did.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But it doesn't really matter. He's, like, late teens. They explicitly state that he's late teens.
Yeah.
He's at least
a young fella.
He's a young fella. And he looks like one with his silly ascot and white pants.
And his loafers.
And his loafers. And bell-bottom jeans. Because it's the 60s.
But it is a look, I'll say.
Yes, it's a look. But it's just so funny that there will be moments where he's just going, ah! With, like, a big smile on, and the next moment he's just beating the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, those racer boys love to fight.
Yeah. What was your favorite part?
The screams.
Yeah.
There's so many good screams.
Ah!
Because like occasionally it'll cut to Speed reacting and he's like, ah! I love the screams. They're so funny. I love Speed's goofy fucking faces.
This whole show, from start to finish, is just so goofy and weird in all the ways that just kind of make it fun to watch. Because it's like, let's be honest, not a lot of people are going to watch a show from like 1967.
No.
Unless you're like, it came on the TV. It's not, like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of people will struggle to watch shit from like 20 years ago, which, by the way, now includes shit like Samurai Champloo.
Oh, no.
Sardo, Full Metal Alchemist is now over 20 years old.
Stross, I'm gonna throw up.
If you're gonna do so, please tell me so that we can get it perfectly in audio format.
Chain reaction puke-a-thon.
Well, no, I plan to use it to be on my sound on a future soundboard.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're marketing my puke. I see.
Hey, we gotta make money somehow.
That's true, but yeah, I understand totally that there's a bit of a difficulty in seeing these older cartoons and really following them and connecting with them because a lot of shit does come off kind of hokey and outdated and
goofy, like, and it's janky animation. Because it's like we have to do this on a budget.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna say it was fun. This was very fun to watch because it's so goofy and wild that it works.
It's a weirdly wholesome thing in spite of all the violence.
Just the weird amount of violence.
But it was good. I think this is definitely the best thing I've suggested that we watch or read for the show.
Well, this is, like, in terms of, like, okay, when you suggest things, and I don't want to be too backhanded, you purposely are like, let's watch something, like, weird and bad.
Listen, I'm a bit of a gremlin when it comes to suggestions.
I understand that.
I don't take it as a backhanded compliment at all. I know myself.
Yeah, it's like,
I have no delusions.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, by the way. I just make fun of it because it's just funny. Like, in terms of actual quality, this might be the best thing we've watched. It's just kind of a hilarious thought process.
I had a great time.
Oh, I had a wonderful time. It was great.
Yeah, but it's funny because thinking about it now, after all these years, I think I'm in the same place my dad was, but also in a different place because, like him, I do think that was stupid, but he said it with some contempt.
And you're like, this is with love.
Yeah, like, all the love in the world. This is stupid. And I think there's power in that.
I think there is. And I think it is fun.
It is fun.
Any other thoughts on Speed Racer before we move on to just random bits and miscellanea at the end of this?
Oh, go watch Speed Racer if that's your thing. Go check it out. It's on Funimation, I think.
It's on the Funi. It might also be on Crunchyroll, but it's definitely on Funimation.
I just had a darn good time watching it, and yeah, that's all I gotta say.
It's definitely, like, goofy enough to where you can just, like, watch it with a few friends and be like, look at this stupid feet. Look at them. The stupid with Grandpa's guitar.
Okay, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. and Youngs.
And sometimes Youngs.
Why the fuck am I 3 people?
Don't worry, Metalocalypse episode is coming.
Yes.
We're promising that one. But anyway, Sardo, any fun news or special things you want to talk about that has happened in the basically last time I talked with you was last Thursday, not this past Thursday, but the one before that. It was July last time we were on call together. So anything fun happening?
Well, you were on call for Monday though too, remember?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't there for very long.
Fair.
That was just for the stream. So if there's anything like, did you see, watch, do anything the hell you watching?
Oh, that the hell I'm watching up. Well, I got a big old stack of manga out there. I have been checking out some very nice, lighter, fluffier kind of romance stuff. I finally got into reading Horimiya, which is very cute. It is a romance, very sweet so far. I'm only on the first volume, but I want to tell you about the thing I watched this week that made me very sad.
Did you?
I want to talk to you, Stross, about the worst Vincent Price movie I've ever seen.
And that is?
I want to talk about Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine.
Sounds amazing. How did this make you so upset?
It was, oh my god. And I want to preface by saying I love Vincent Price. He's my favorite dude. I've named myself after him.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows. Vincent Price put his whole Vincent Prissy into that role. He was the eponymous Dr. Goldfoot, who is a mad scientist who designs these sexy female robots to go out and bewitch men and make them marry them. And then they take the men's money and the men die, and Dr. Goldfoot becomes rich.
All right. So far sounds great. So what's upsetting about it?
What? It's dumb. It sucks. It's not the good kind of dumb. It's not Speed Racer dumb. It was just tacky. It should have been everything I liked, Stross. It was garbage.
I'm so sorry.
I can't believe Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine was bad.
And not the fun bad.
It wasn't good bad. It was bad, and I'm very upset about it. But that's me. Stross, what about you?
Well,
I know you've been
while I was away, I watched a couple of things that I'm wanting to talk about. I saw the musical episode of the new Star Trek series that they have.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. I'm not a huge Star Trek person, so like I'm watching it and I'm like, well, this is weird. The Klingons got a rap R&B breakdown.
Oh.
Which I'm like, okay, if we're gonna do a musical episode and everyone has to sing, what do the Klingons do? Oh, there's your answer.
Oh, all right, that's something.
I also, I saw a movie that's very important, but that's getting its own episode.
All right.
Because I'll tell you afterwards.
I look forward to it.
Yes. Let's see. Anything else that I did? I read Test of the Twins. That was fun.
Oh, what's that about?
That's the third book in the Twins trilogy of Caramon and Raceland. So if you're anyone here a big Dragonlance fan, this is your big shout out.
Huh.
You would like Raceland. He's an awful man who is a decrepit young wizard.
I love an awful decrepit man.
Yeah. And in an attempt to teach him compassion, they made him see death everywhere. And it's just like, wow, you really are stupid, Council of High Sorcery.
That'll teach him compassion.
That'll teach him compassion for the lives of others, seeing them dead all the time. Totally helps. You'd like it. You work in a library, so you could easily find the Dragonlance books.
I gotta check that out.
You start with the original trilogy, and then you can move through. You can meet Fizban and Tasselhoff. Fizban and the Fabulous.
Oh, Fizban the Fabulous. I love him already.
He's Gandalf. Well, he looks like Gandalf. But he's bumbling.
There. Very good.
Tasselhoff is what happens if hobbits were little shits.
I don't know that hobbits are already kind of little
No,
shits, but
no,
okay.
like imagine if everyone was like Pippin, but like turned to
Oh.
11 and just took things.
Oh. Okay. Is Tasselhoff related to Hasselhoff?
No, he's Tasselhot Burfoot. He's a Kender.
Oh.
Kenders are halflings in the world of Kryn.
Okay. Well, sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. Solid books.
I will have to check it out.
And Raceland has a twin brother named Caramon, who's just a very large man. He has a
I
wife
love him
named.
already.
He gets a wife at some point.
For him.
Then the best part about these books is that because they've been re-released over the years, like copies, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The art for them are either extremely recent or extremely 80s. In fact, I should show you what I mean. So I'm gonna show you a couple. Are you down with this?
All right.
So here's some live reactions to make this episode time compliant and not just like 40 minutes.
Live Sardo reaction.
The live Sardo reaction. So I'm first going to show you. There's many characters. So one of the twins is named Caramon. He's the large one. I'm going to send you a picture. This is a much more recent picture. Hold on, I have to wait for things to load because when I'm the one who does all the tech side of things, it kind of eats up my computer's memory a little bit. My memory's not so good, Joker.
Oh, Joker, my memory. My meow.
Anyone who isn't watching my streaming Persona 5 is always confused by that. Here, this is what Caramon looks like.
Oh, very handsome.
Yeah, handsome guy. And then here's the... no, I'm gonna go with... I'm trying to decide which one's the funniest one. So this is what his brother Raceland looks like. This is a much more 80s picture, and you can tell by the colors and the look. He doesn't look so bad.
Yeah. Dude.
Looks pretty good. And now, I'm trying to decide which one I want to do next because there's so many options. And this is Tika. This one's very 80s. I'm warning you now.
Oh, I love the 80s stuff.
This is going to be very 80s fantasy.
Oh, yep, she doesn't have pants. That's definitely 80s.
Not only does she not have pants, but the hair, like the look of everything. Oh, and I should mention the twins have an older sister, half-sister. She looks like this. Her name's Kitiara.
Oh, very nice.
It should be noted that Kitiara has a lot of sex and is evil.
Good for her.
Hold on, I'm going to see if I can find some more just really funny, like, very 80s photos of some of these characters. Because it's like, here's the villain from the very first Dragonlance book. You're going to love this guy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
This is Lord Verminard. He's a cleric.
Okay. A cleric with those arms?
Well, he's also a fighter.
Ah. Multi-class. Very nice.
Yeah, very much a multi-class man. But yeah, they're fun books. You would like them. They're very, like... I will say they are very straight 80s fantasy, where at times things are very straight, which is the only real downside.
That's all right. I've read more than a few things like that.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna show you Fizzban, and with him is Tasselhoff Burfoot. You'll love this wizard. Look at him.
That is a wizard. That is a man who needs to be airbrushed on the side of a van.
No, the one who needs to be airbrushed on the side of the van is actually this lady, Lorana.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very 80s image. That one's not recent.
Shit.
It's so 80s. Hold on, I gotta show you Sturm Brightblade. Yes, that is his name. This is Sturm. You'd like Sturm. He's got a mustache.
I love Sturm. He looks like Lemmy.
He kinda does look like Lemmy. But yeah, very fun. There's a lot of characters. Like, you could just find so many pictures, so much art. And there's so
Absolutely delightful.
Very fun. They're not super long. There's just a lot of them. I mean, these were written over a long period of time.
That is swell.
There's dragons, you know, there's stuff. By the way, Sturm does have a son. He doesn't know about his son. Not his fault. He was just never told about him. You want to guess what his name is?
Frank.
You're not thinking silly enough.
Franklin.
No, you're going too normal silly when you need to be more goofy.
Franklino.
No, his name is Steel.
Steel?
Steel Brightblade.
Steel Brightblade. That is the speed racer of 80s American fantasy games.
There's also a really awesome Death Knight.
Oh?
Because you play D&D, and this is old school D&D, so Death Knight is like a thing you know about. His name is Lord Soth. Or Soth. And he is such a bastard.
As a Death Knight should be.
Oh, you have no idea. It's like more of a bastard than you think. He's not just a bastard. He is a bastard. Also, here's an 80s picture of him, and you're going to be like, oh, he's awesome.
I was about to ask if you had any pictures.
Absolutely. Look at this man.
Oh, look at him.
He almost saved the world, and then fucked up royal.
Oh, get a load of this guy.
Oh, you'll love him because he's so awful.
You just don't see a whole lot of guys who have, like, glowing red eyes and a closed helm anymore.
Yeah, everyone has to have their helmet open or no helmet at all, and no.
Like, oh, if he has the helmet on, we can't see his pretty face. Fuck you.
Also, there's Tanis, half elven. Tanis can be best described as sometimes he's the smartest man in the room. Sometimes. Unless his ex is brought up, and then things become problematic. This is what Tanis looks like, by the way.
Occasional brain cell holder. Okay.
Yeah. There's also Goldmoon and Riverwind, who are obviously supposed to be Native American. They kind of fucked up what Goldmoon looks like. Because it was the 80s.
Oof.
Well, like, she's described in the book as being very Native American looking, except for having bright golden hair, because she's, like, blessed with actual clerical powers. So, okay, the thing about the world of Kryn is that the gods have abandoned Kryn because of the cataclysm caused by the king priest of Istar going a bit too hard on being good.
As you do.
Yeah, almost destroying the fabric of reality. Like you do. But so she's an actual cleric.
Right.
With actual clerical powers, so she can heal people. And she's described as, like, in the book, as obviously being Native American.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of looks. Like Riverwind. But she has bright golden hair, because she's, you know, magical and mystical. And, you know, it's like, Thulsa Doom in the Conan movie, where he's clearly looks like a normal person, except for the parts that don't really match. So that's how you know he's a wizard.
Right.
So this is what she looks like. Prepare to be disappointed.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm sorry. Don't worry. Fan art has corrected this for years now.
Oh, God.
Riverwind looks really cool. He's very large. This is him fighting a draconian.
That is a large man and a large lizard.
That's a draconian. It's neat. You'd totally like it. As like this normal, regular ye old Oh, I should show you the dwarf. There is a dwarf. His name's Flint.
Gotta check it out. It's like fantasy these days is like 20 steps removed from like even the base level irony. It's all so goddamn ironic now, and I just want some straight up fantasy.
Yeah, this is very like fantasy classic. Obviously inspired by Lord of the Rings, and obviously made for D&D.
Fantasy is too damn self-aware these days.
I want some just wholesome, non-isekai based fantasy.
Too much winking at the camera. I don't want any of this RPG shit.
Well, in fairness, technically this is very RPG shit. They literally have an encounter.
It's different RPG shit.
No, the best part about it is that people pointed out that like Raceland's stats don't work anymore because his like con is so low. It's like he wouldn't be able to walk. Which is hilarious.
Oh, somebody needs to carry him.
I mean, he has modernized stats. It's just because, when he came about, it was like 2nd edition.
Mm-hmm.
So, stats in that could be very weird. But yeah. It's fun. You'd like it.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Let's see. Anything else?
I think that about does it.
I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you, everyone. I'm Stross. You can follow me at AllMightyStross on Twitter as it still exists. And eventually, I guess we'll both end up on Blue Sky like everyone else.
Eventually. I plan on riding this train till the wheels fall off.
Oh, no, absolutely. Wheels, and once the wheels fall off, we're going to be on Blue Sky like nothing ever happened.
Oh, yeah.
And also on Twitch on Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Sundays, which is the worst way to say that. But Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, that's my stream days at 8:30-ish Eastern Standard Time. Sardo's pretty much now permanently there.
I'm there now. You can't get rid of me.
I haven't tried.
You haven't tried. It's true.
In fact, the only reason why you don't ever show up is because you're busy. That's it. True. I don't kick you out. If anything, I invite you in every single time.
You have been very encouraging, and I appreciate you letting me co-host on the stream. It's
I'm totally
very
down
fun.
with that. It lets me be able to, when I need to look something up, do so without issue.
And I do plan on doing the Morgana voice for the rest of the Persona 5 run. So everybody knows.
It's not going to be the rest of the Persona 5 run. It's going to be that, Strikers, when I restream that, and then when Tactica comes out later this year.
It's time to dance, Joker.
You think you're stopping now? You foolish bitch. You ignorant slut. You're not done here yet.
My work is not yet done.
And you can follow Sardo at Topsy Garlands on Twitter, Mark Evil for the art account, and every Monday at also 8:30-ish Eastern Standard Time, 6:30-ish Mountain Time, for a drawing stream where you can get requests done.
Yes.
Let's talk about a couple of the ones that you've done that you really liked.
My pride and joy, skeleton contemplating Pokari sweat.
That one is a classic.
I do love that one.
It's beautiful.
My friend Kimmy once had me draw Nobunaga in Barbie Horse Adventure, and I drew probably the worst looking horse ever. So
potentially,
it was a really bad horse.
It was a horse worthy of a medieval tapestry.
Thank you. That was the nicest way anybody could have phrased that.
You've drawn 3 out of 4 Burball stars.
I have. Just Kohaku left now.
Which means that Kohaku is next.
Yes.
By default. Hideaki Utsume must know that someone loves his birds almost as much as he does.
We love his birds very much.
We do. You've also drawn 22 pilots of the boys Arcana. Very important.
This is our original persona, Do Not Steal.
It's us as a persona, Do Not Steal.
And it's really cool. It's really cool.
It's really cool in the dumbest way possible.
Yes.
You've drawn our beloved late friend Tater Tot, the cat, and his bonkers.
Rest in peace, Tater Tot.
Rest in peace, Tater Tot. Your heart was literally too big for you.
And I've drawn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the list. You've drawn a penguin eating a cupcake, a hostess cupcake.
A penguin eating a pinguino, which
this is true. It's a pinguino, which is basically the same thing but from Mexico.
Yes. And my friend Marina requested that.
And one of my personal favorites, me forcing you to put Morgana into the Sardo said I'm a cat shirt.
Morgana was very mad.
He's big angry.
He's angry.
But yeah, come to those streams. Those are fun. I'm there, and insanity happens.
Yes, Stross provides the entertainment. I provide the stuff to look at.
They're very good stuff to look at, and I guess I'm entertaining.
I think you're entertaining.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, tonight was fun. I miss doing this. I'm so glad we're back in action.
I'm glad we're so back, everyone.
We're so back.
We're so back. We will see you. And by the way, those draw streams are Mondays, so today, they're later today.
All right.
Because this comes out on a Monday.
Later today. I get that.
And tomorrow is my stream where you can watch me currently play Persona 5 as we absolutely just talk shit about some teenagers.
We're gonna bully some people so much.
We're not sorry. We're never sorry.
Never.
Never. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.